So we're here in Bermondsey and just arrived and we're about to go and meet Bill from Capcasein Dairy and find out about our amazing cheese way. So we're here at Capcasein Dairy here in Bermondsey and I'm meeting with Bill. Bill,
Hiya.
Good to meet you.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for having us around today.
Yeah.
So we're just going to have a quick look around the unit here and see how some of the products that we use in the restaurant are made.
Yeah, so these are the milk churns. The milk came in, we just cleaned them all up. We had 19 this morning.
This comes straight from the farm. Where did you say the farm was?
Sevenoaks, so Edenbridge.
So it's literally milked fresh from the cow,
Yeah.
straight into here.
Yeah, I went to get the milk cows. So yeah, as it comes out, it's warm and it arrives here about 30 degrees.
Yeah. It doesn't get much fresher than that, right?
No. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so there's the Bermondsey pressed. Oh, they're about 15.
15 months.
Yeah, so around, these are the ones we're selling. 2 or 3 years, I think, before I got it right, I think. Yeah, because it takes so long to see the result.
Yeah.
You need a year minimum. I've been involved with the cheese business for 30 years.
So how long ago did you set up Capcasein?
10 years ago? Well, more than that, 12 now. We can sell it ourselves on the market, racletting or in the toasties, so it's nice.
There's always a buzzing crowd around the shop, which always looks good.
Yeah, we got customers.
Melting cheese is quite a fascinating thing to watch.
You could try this one. So that's 2020. So I'll give you a bit to try.
Thank you. So this is almost 2 years old, or just over 2 years old.
Yeah. It's almost got a kind of pineapple flavour. It's quite strong.
I almost think of it as like sort of like English Parmesan sort of size.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's pretty close. I mean, it's the same family. It's a relative.
But that's exactly how we use it. You know, it's lovely to be able to find a local product. You know, like this is less than 3 miles from the restaurant, and we can substitute in a product like Parmesan, which is so widely used around the world for a product made milk from Kent, driven to London, you know, in under 2 hours, made into cheese by a local guy, and then serving in the restaurant. Very unctuous sort of flavour. It's delicious.
Okay, so all the churns come through here. I pour them into the vat here. This is Pietro. Hey, Pietro. He's the people you deliver to. So there's about 440 litres in there.
So what temperature will you take this up to?
50, I think.
Is this a special pot?
Yeah.
Is it copper?
Copper, yeah, from the Alps, yeah. I think copper was easy to work, so you could make the shape. It's also a very good conductor of heat, so you don't get the hot spots. Do you want to see this? He's just pulling the curds out. We get a close-up, Pietro.
One of those white round things, that would be one big wheel of cheese.
Yeah. 225 kilos, but we're going to make some Bermondsey fryer. 16 kilos of Bermondsey fryer, 25, 30 kilos of hard press.
So he's just taken out all the curds from the vat. So all of that left in there now is just the whey, right?
Yeah.
So that's basically what we're going to now take and
then the rest we'll make ricotta with it. About 10 or 11% of it is cheese, and then around 89 to 90% is whey.
Apart from us using it, what would be the other uses for it?
Feeding animals. They feed animals with it.
When we found out about whey a couple of years ago, we were so desperate to use it. Because we saw some different recipes online. I know they use it a lot in Scandinavia.
Yeah. The yetos they make with the goat's milk. Yeah.
But we were working on the tart recipe for like well over a year before we actually got it to where it was meant to be. But no, I think it's incredible. It's an incredible product. Like, I mean, it's one of the most popular desserts I've ever served.
Yeah. I'm Anna. I'm head pastry chef and senior sous here at Fallow Restaurant. We're going to make our whey custard tart. So there's a couple of elements to it. The whey itself we've actually already reduced. We get in about 50 litres from Bermondsey. We reduce it for a couple of days, take it to about 2 to 3 litres, so it's quite a concentrated mix, a really lovely, sweet, salty, dark caramel to it. It's actually this one here. This we add with our egg yolks. So I have white caster sugar and a little bit of muscovado, just to help with the dark richness that we want to get through in the custard. Mix all of that together. This is the base of our, call it our egg custard, and then we're going to make a caramel that we're going to incorporate into this. Full cream on the heat. I'm just going to bring it to just below simmering, so like 85, 90 degrees. So it's just below boiling. So give this a quick mix. Then I'm just adding in roughly a third. There's still a couple of lumps, that's from the muscovado and also from the whey, because the whey is quite a grainy texture, but actually it will all generally dissolve down. Pour this back to the pot. So now that's the double cream, the egg yolk, muscovado, white caster sugar and the reduced whey. Once it's literally just started to come a little bit back up to heat, we'll remove it and we're going to start then making the caramel. Okay, so to start the caramel, I just have a little bit of water that I rain the sugar into. We're taking this to 177 degrees and then we just cook it off a little bit longer where we evaporate some of the water that we added at the first stage. I'm just going to add a little bit of this egg custard into the Thermomix, ready for when we add the caramel to it. I need it to be totally ready to go, so when the caramel hits 177, I can basically start to blitz it straight away and pour it in. I have the now really hot sugar with the salt. Drizzle it into the machine. And we're basically trying to incorporate this at quite a high speed, so I get a really, really nice, almost an emulsion. So I pour this now through the chinois, so you can see like a really nice thick dark caramel. And then mix with that the custard we had from the first batch. So just whisk the remaining bit through. We're going to start lining our tart cases. I just put a nice square at the bottom so that the dough, once it's finished cooking, is quite easy to slide off. Then this is a sweet tart dough that is quite a pliable mix, so soften it up and make sure it's quite even. And then take my case, fold it in. This first bit is just literally to take the weight off it so that the pastry doesn't break. I'm then going to start to go round and fold it like almost like an A4 piece of paper. And I'm now pushing it into the side and make sure that it's pushed up against the metal. Fingers inside and my thumb outside, pushing against the metal. I'm basically using the inside to push any air and the outside is pushing against the mold to get a really clean cut. So with these, I fill them now straight away in the oven so that I'm not walking around the kitchen with everything in. Cook those for 2 hours at 95 degrees. The tart has been baking for about 2 hours. As you can see, there's still a little bit of a wobble, but it's the whole tart is wobbling. Cool them down and slice them for service tomorrow.
It's a gorgeous texture.
It feels like it should be super sweet, but it's not. It's got that lovely, like feeling afterwards. Because when you eat something like this, usually it's like, wow, it's so sweet, and you get this kind of uncomfortable feeling. But this is very kind of gentle or subtle. Oh yeah, that's amazing.